Stu here with Raid, Shadow Legends, and Richtoff the Bold. Have we been Rickrolled again with this balance on Richtoff? Okay, the only saving grace for him, I think, is if you have him booked out and he has a 3-turn cooldown to place 3 poisons on everybody out there. That's very cool. Bad Alcazar can do 2 poisons on everybody else with a lot of other moves, with a lot else going on, which is much better. But if you need somebody to place poisons, he can do it. If you have Xavia, if you have Eleanor to do Poison Explosion, this guy can work really well with them. We're talking about 2 legendaries that then a lot, it's hard to do, right? Karam does not work because he only does single target. You'll see Karam in a minute. So here on his A1, it does the AoE. Nobody really cares about targets max HP that much, especially, for this guy. This guy is great for faction wars, right? You put him in a poison. You put him in a stun artifact set and let him go. Let him do some stuns on his A1. Put up the poisons on his A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. And then this move is really not very good at all. This ability to get additional critical damage holds no water against somebody who can do additional 40% damage or 50% damage. It's just not even close. So we got Mashald out there now on his A3 that can do an additional 50% damage. That's huge. If you do 1 million damage, an additional 50% is 1.5 million. If you get an additional 100% critical damage, it's nowhere near that. It's not even close to that. So, and besides, you'd have to have 5 poisons up on the enemy to do that. And he does this. I'm not sure what he does on the AI when he does this. I wasn't really caring too much. I'm not impressed with this guy. Again, if this was Poison Explosion here, he would be phenomenal. People would be using him right now and be like, yo, look at me put up these poisons, blow them up like I'm Xavia or whoever else, Eleanor, and we're having a good old time with him. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. So in his masteries over here, I just went for Helm Smasher to try to get a little bit more damage. Of course, I went to extend the poisons so we can get them for a longer turn if we can. Get them up there longer. And then I went here for, stun artifacts along with a crit and critical damage. We got a 100% chance to crit. 222 critical damage. We've got 3,271 attack on him. So he's gonna hit okay, right? And we've got enough accuracy to get the job done. We do have critical damage neck, critical damage gloves, and then the rest attack, speed, everything you would think about to go along with him. But I am very disappointed that they did not put Detonate on there. So we're going to run him through Spiders 20 on a fun team. Probably not going to last. Then we're going to run through Ice Golem 20 on a team that could pretty much make it through Ice Golem without him. But we're going to show where his poisons can actually do some work. If you are a very tanky team and you just make Richtoff tanky, don't worry about him doing damage. Just put him on a team that give him tons of HP, give him accuracy, make sure he can do the stuns. Hold on, let me stop this. Then he'll do very well for you on a slow, tanky team. Like if you're having trouble progressing through something, if you have him and you have the books to book him out, I would probably say save those books for Rosin Scarhide. But if you do book him out and you want to use him, then put him in stun artifacts if you can, make him super tanky, and just make sure he's stunning and putting up poisons to help you get through content. That way you just have a really tanky team, survive through it, you go through it super slow, and you'll be okay. Anyways, here we have Karam to explode the poison. He's going to do, 1 million to 2 million damage depending on how many poisons are up. We've got a Rosin Scarhide that's very tanky and also high resistance to try to tank for us for a while. We've got our Stagnite, who's always amazing, Apothecary, and then we've got Richtoff. Let's see what Richtoff will do. He's going to start out with his poison, of course. You're going to throw him up. He's going to attack one enemy, which is really good on Ice Golem because you're attacking probably a side minion. And then you're putting poisons up on everybody, which will help you with the boss, right? And with Ice Golem, if you bring the boss down below that threshold from poisons when he takes a turn, he will not attack you, which is really good. So here, we've got an AoE there. We got 1 stun. So we got 1 stun from his base A1 AoE. We've got poisons up. He's just not amazing, right? He doesn't do anything that we can't get from other people. He does one additional thing. He stacks poisons where there's a debuff cap anyways, right? So I don't know. You're not going to use him in the clan boss because he doesn't do damage based off of defense, and because his A1 is an AoE, so it's not doing a lot of damage in general. You're not going to use him in dragons normally because dragons 20 is magic, so you wouldn't use spirit. You could use him on the way up, I guess, to try to do that, but you might as well just use Kale because Kale is a killer, and that's really all you need is Kale. There's no reason to even, book this guy out for that. And until we have other content that comes out to where we can really see this guy shine, I just don't see anything. I find this a very laughable update for him. Did it bring him up from worst? Sure. It brought him up a few steps from worst. A few steps from worst champion to now he's a really good champion at putting up poisons on everybody on a 3-turn cooldown. But what can we really do with that? We can't do anything with that on spiders because the spider takes a turn. She's going to feed eventually. She gets stronger. It's no good. No bueno on spiders. We can't really do that on Fire Knight unless we have a Xavia with us to explode it, or a Karam. I guess we could try it, but really a Xavia is who we want. Plus, it's a 3-turn cooldown, so we're going to be taking turns, right? We're going to be taking. There are much better options that are rare and epic options for those dungeons, for most dungeons, for everything, except for Faction Wars. For Faction Wars, I could see that he would play a big role because, let's be honest, you know, Bannerlords don't have a good selection to use in Faction Wars. They're getting better. They are getting better, but you might be limited on who you have, so he would be a good person to use for that. Bring him into Faction Wars. All right, so we're going through this. No, I'm sorry. We're not going through this. We are done. We are out of that. So that's how you'd function there. Also, you could get, you know, if you have Xavia, I think he could do really, especially if I have 2 Richtoffs. So if I went in there with 2 Richtoffs, I laid down the poisons immediately and with my Bad Alcazar. So right then we would get what, 6, 7, 8? We'd have 8 poisons up plus Bad Alcazar would do 15% additional damage, you know, whenever there's a poison on an enemy for anybody that attacks that enemy. So 15% additional explosion damage with our Xavia, which I don't have. Then we could go in there and maybe blow up the spider to almost dead. That would be fun. Or we could go into Ice Golem and do the same exact thing with those people and blow it up. Of course, we got to get there somehow, but I'm going to bring this team in here, right? This is a team that no matter what could probably make it with just these 4. No issues. But let's see how it does with Richtoff. Let's see him on the boss specifically because, you know, going through the waves, unless you have a slow tanky team and you're not able to progress, then it's the only reason why you would use him to go through waves. Yes, it's cool to see all these poisons up. Of course, we've had Bad Alcazar contributing to that, but really, you don't want to get through waves with poisons. Have I done it before? Sure. When I came up in the world, I was like, hey, I can't make it through, but I can make my guys tanky, and I can slowly get through there, and sometimes that's what you have to do. So right now, I hope we don't die for Reflect. We don't really have anybody here to bring us back to life, so it'd be nice to get some stuns. We did get 1 stun. Okay, now we're probably going to die for Reflect. Nobody do anything crazy. Nobody. Okay, Bad L's doing some whatever. Hoping nobody pops off. Richtoff is going to die and not even get to show us. Okay, Richtoff is alive. Hallelujah. Okay, Bad L, good. Okay, we're back. We're back in action. We have some. There we go. So he got a stun up with his shot, and he put poisons on everybody, which is actually really good. Then we had our Seer just decimate the whole enemy side. We didn't have a decreased defense on the boss, or he would have taken a lot more damage from Seer. She did kill the minions. That's cool. Again, we're putting out more poisons from Richtoff. So the poisons are great. When the boss takes a turn, he's going to drop quite a bit. It's actually always good to have an Ice Golem. So if you can get him to this point, he's going to do AoE. So sometimes he could drop you below the threshold if you're not careful. Other people can too, just like this right here. It's going to hurt. And Richtoff is dead. So we got up his poisons. And I put him on a different team before. I already recorded a video. And I put him on a team with Apothecary with a lot of other people where he got here. And it was a much longer run. It was a 5-minute run. Maybe it was a 4-minute run. He did well. He got the people through there, and he got poisons up at this part. So I wanted to put him on a faster pace team just to see if he could really help out here. But honestly, anybody on this team could work in this position. But we did see his poisons go up, and they did help out. Now, if we had Xavia in here to explode them, or even Elenaro, it would have been crazy. Because Xavia, when she explodes, if she kills any of the side minions, they stay dead. They stay dead on that ability. So that's Richtoff. I mean, I really don't know where else we could run him through to make him look amazing or to where you'd want to use him. I really don't. I think he's an okay champion. I like that he can stack poisons. I think it would be great if, let's see, if we had a Faction Wars open to show you him, to go through Faction Wars and help out there. Because, you know, Faction Wars at times, now that it's easier though, you might not need that. But at times it's nice to have up all those poisons. Probably on a boss stage, it'd be really nice to have Richtoff there to do that. But as you can see, the damage he's putting out isn't amazing. So if you're going to do something like this, you need to make sure that his damage is going to be really good. 4-turn cooldown. That could be on a 3-turn cooldown and it still really wouldn't matter. Again, critical damage is not what's needed here. What's needed here is an additional damage overall. Just like Brackets, just like Mashald that you've seen lately, just killing it. And who else? Who else has it? Candrafon. Candrafon has it as well whenever he's veiled, perfect veiled. 40% or 50% additional damage, which is very, very big. And this one doing the AoE still really doesn't benefit anybody. I don't even know why he has an AoE A1. It's cool. Would it be cooler if he had a debuff on here that actually did something amazing? Like say he had decreased defense or slow speed. Even slow speed, then he would definitely benefit us much more. in anything we do. This right here is just really doesn't benefit us in anything we do unless we're in some crazy long fight. We're lowering somebody's HP over and over. Remember, this is an AoE A1 that doesn't do much damage anyways, so it's pretty silly. I mean, it just doesn't go with AoE. It doesn't go well with this at all. This is fantastic now. I do like this on a 3-turn cooldown. This is a great ability. This one, again, is very lackluster. So we need to change up these two things. What we need to do is give him a slow speed, decrease defense, which probably will never happen, decrease attack, which again will probably never happen, which would be very cool. We could do decrease attack. That wouldn't be as dirty as decreased defense, or AoE weaken. We could do AoE 25% weaken. That'd be very sweet to have on this champion. Anything like that would help out more than this. Way more. Way more. I think AoE weaken would be pretty fun, and then definitely make this an poison explosion, right? Make this an AoE poison explosion so he can join the ranks of those other two. Eleanor on Xavia. He can be there, and he'll be right below Xavia, but still be just as amazing. You know, Xavia can't really put him up as much this fast, but because her percentage isn't as high, I don't think it's like 75 or something. I don't have her, of course, but I've played with her before, and then she can do it on her A1, so she has other things going for her, plus she can kill people and they can't be revived. So why not? Why not make this do poison explosion, please? Please. And then Richtoff would be amazing. We'd all be out there playing Richtoff just like we do those other champions. I hope. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate all your time. Please subscribe if you have not, and I will see you guys all on a video soon.